Hey, yo, man, damn, what an episode! I mean, we got action left and right. I mean, it wasn't a shortage of anything. We feel the energy definitely rising. This feels like the climax of the show. I mean, we're here. All right, we're in the main. I
The
guess.
third act.
Yeah, for sure. So we're gonna get straight into it, man. You know who it is. It's Hitman and Greg. What have you? Well, first off, let's run down the episode. What happened this episode, and what were your thoughts on
Just,
it?
just, just let it come, mate. Just do your gloat. Come on, you got to do
I
your thing.
Well, he's very unserious.
Yeah, he really
Like,
he's definitely comedic relief.
ve-
He's perfect comedic relief.
yeah. Do you think that's a red herring for your theory that he's got the third eye on his belt?
You
I
got to do your thing.
I ain't got nothing, man. I ain't got nothing today. All right, I'm in a good mood. I'm feeling
What do
humble
you
today.
mean?
All right, man. I'm feeling
What do
good.
you mean?
I just I'm gonna let you do it, man. You got it. You got it.
You got one. No, you got one. You've been saying since we met Hibis
Yeah.
that his belt was containing an eye, and it happened to be of the third kind. So, come on, bring it home.
Like I said, man, I'm feeling humble, man. They caught me on the wrong day. All right, they caught me on the right day for that matter. But yeah, Hibis, his belt, as you guys see, it was the third eye. It had been a real curious looking belt this whole time. His character is something I just liked Hibis so far, so I kept paying attention. I wanted to see what that was about, and it seemed like it just all came full circle really fast. He handed it over pretty quickly. I mean, damn. Do you do you think it's because we went into the lore of
Lore of
the
it, yeah.
the demon kings and how those things were? Did you think it was good that we saw more of Deborah? Did you want more? Did you feel like it was something we didn't have to focus on, or how'd you feel about how they handled this episode?
I liked it honestly because we're off the back of a couple of more mundane episodes. I wasn't sure if this one was going to be maybe a little bit kind of ease us into the third act, I guess. And if that was the case, what I was going to ask is like, you know, will we get flashbacks of especially Abora, who we saw a little bit more of this episode anyway, only because he's in the intro, the intro credits. So that was kind of a question I was going to bring up if we didn't have too much else to talk about. But alas, we did get a little bit of a backstory into the third eye, which obviously directly ties into some of the previous Demon Kings, Deborah and Abora himself. And what I don't know if it's specifically some of the other Demon Kings or just kind of like the Super Saiyan God kind of prophecy, where it's just a random silhouette of a couple of former Demon Kings or not. But we did get a few of that. I liked that. I also liked that it wasn't necessarily told from anyone's perspective. It was just the narration kind of giving it as a fact. There's no way to sort of misinterpret that as someone's, recollection that could be possibly misremembered or something like that. So I do like that. And like you said, the third eye was given over pretty quickly. So a part of me, there is maybe a 15% part of me that thinks that maybe it's just not the eye. Maybe it's just a total fake out and it's just something else entirely and it's just nothing. Because I think the same chance that Hibis, he's pretty naive to it all, assumedly. And I did ask the question of you, Yonks, back when you first put the theory that he had the third eye on his belt, whether or not he's knowledgeable of that, and if he is or isn't, whether he's potentially a bit of a fake out, a bit of a sleeper agent or something like that. But it seems like it's all pretty face value. Seems like he is a naive kind of character, and it is the third eye on his belt, and he has just given it over in exchange for a hat. So, yeah, and that character he gave it over to, is she? She wasn't Degasu in disguise or anything, was she?
I thought it was. I could have sworn it was.
I did too,
I,
but it
I
doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, it kind of like he never handed Goma the eye, so it's kind of weird. You
No,
know, it feels like he would have just came back and handed it right over. But like you're right, like I noticed they didn't seem to like he never said anything direct. It was more like we couldn't tell. It was up in the air. But we'll see next episode. But yeah, I mean the idea of Hibis is just being like you're saying like a naive child, like really out. He just you can't tell what plane he's on whenever you're around him. Like you can't tell where his head is at. It was all there, and it just came full circle. It was bizarre. You know, like you're saying, the trade for that stupid looking hat is all he wanted. He couldn't care less. He was like, yo, I don't care about your romance and lady. I ain't no simp. All right, is you gonna offer me something useful or not? I'm like, yo, this guy's player, man. I like it. He kept it P, and then he got his swag up, man. He kept moving. That was a good one. I see that now that we're in the final act, you see the king of the third world has come
Love
through.
him.
He's on his crew. He's with his crew. They're wreaking havoc,
That was
and
fun.
yeah, they got the drop on everybody. That was a really cool moment. What's funny, when he dropped in and they were throwing those little, like, the green grenades to counteract the blue charge up beams. I'm like, imagine they just get shot down right now, and then they have like a dramatic
They
moment.
did.
And
Yeah.
they did. I was like, all right, well, that was more me being funny in my head because I'm a cynicist. So I'm like, all right, well, I hope they're not dead, but it would be kind of crazy if they were. And then next, not even 10 seconds, and they were fine. So that was all right. Just a lot happened really fast. It was definitely an action episode. Like you're saying, the pace picked up for sure. Do you think next episode we're gonna see the full abilities of the third eye? Or do you think it's gonna last like another? It's gonna be its own little saga, maybe jumping from hand to hand, or do you think it goes straight to Goma next episode?
I have no idea because I don't. Again, like I've still got like this suspicion that maybe it's just not the third eye. Maybe it is just a random eye that Hyper's picked up. Because I mean, if he's none the wiser and it had no effect on him, like you don't know whether or not it actually is. So there's still that compartment of me that's like maybe it's just a fake out, and maybe there is something else going on. But who knows? I wonder as well, like even in terms of like having random little twists and turns, whether or not Degasu even gives it over, like whether or not that was him in disguise, and whether he did just hide it for safekeeping and withhold it from Goma himself. I don't know. There's a I mean, it could just be straightforward, and he could just get it off his chick agent and hand it over, and Goma puts it in, and off you go. But with the Ginyu Force 2.0 and the two margins, I feel like we've got a little bit to go before maybe Goma is front and center as the villain. I'm not sure. I just there seems to be a lot of different parties at play for it to kind of climax just yet in a way that has already been kind of foreshadowed. So I don't know how the margins are going to play into it. I don't know how Glorio's possible betrayal is going to play into it. Like I said, the Ginyu Force 2.0 have are kind of next on the slate. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure what's next. I just don't think it's Goma versus Goku, so to speak, immediately. So yeah, I'm not sure. What do you reckon?
I think it's very much on the table that like Goma gets his hands on the next episode. They maybe storm the castle. If not, if they don't get into the castle next episode, it'll certainly be the one after that. They get into the castle. Goma feels overwhelmed. He's running out of soldiers. I suppose the order, like the cliche Dragon Ball like order of events, would be they get into the castle. They're fighting with the, or maybe they're just at the front of the castle. They're fighting the Gendarmerie forces. They're calling them now, and they handle the force or whatever. They trials, tribulations. They handle the force. Maybe that fusion bug is involved. They use the bug. The force is probably gonna. I think they're gonna be a problem. Like I don't know if because I know you weren't too keen on them. I like them as a
Well, now
reference
with
to
the
the
weapons,
Ginyu Force. Like I like what they were in terms of they're close to that, and I think they might fuse and then become a serious
ooh,
threat. But
okay.
I know you were keen on the weapons that they use. So if they use their weapons, they have a full power pole versus whatever weapon they end up with once they fuse, and then Goku handles that or Vegeta handles that. They fight Goma. Goma uses the third eye, and that would be like the real final boss. Some cliche like that. Do you think? Do you think the Ginyu Force 2.0 is a joke? Do you want to see them be used seriously?
No, well, I think they're going to be a proper threat now that we've established that the weapons of the Glenda Marie or whatever in general have such a kind of incapacitating effect, as they said, and they have all five of them have a version of those weapons that have that kind of you know that ammunition, for lack of a better term. and I'd imagine their weapons are a little bit more dangerous than what the general police force have. So, irrespective of their personalities, I think they are armed in a way that can give anyone of the cast trouble. You know, we saw the standard pistols give anyone of the cast trouble already. So I think a Gatling gun or even a sword. You know, I don't know whether maybe the sword will have a little bit of that energy through it, to sort of make it a bit of a like, usually they might, Goku or Vegeta might kind of catch the sword and break it or something like that, but maybe that will have the energy and make it like a bit more of a no touchy kind of situation. So I think they will be a threat. Whether they fuse or not, that remains to be seen. I like that idea, especially if they kind of take out two and the remaining three kind of fuse in, using a bug or something like that. I think that would be a unique way to have that interaction play out, I guess. But there were some cool shots in this episode, by the way. I just don't know how the margins are going to play into it. They certainly seem less of a
Yeah, you're right.
of an evil, or well, not, I guess, less of the antagonists than what maybe they might
Yeah,
have been built up to be.
yeah, they
So who
strike me
knows?
as an X factor, like more of a. They're not really like they don't seem evil. Like you're right. You're dead
No,
on right. So they don't strike me as like a, oh, they're there to take over. Like, yeah, they're gonna do Arinsu's bidding, but it. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. That was an adorable. Like I'm hard. It's hard to pull my
falling asleep.
heartstrings, but that adorable little shot where they're on the couch sleeping like brothers for real.
Yeah,
Like that was. I love that, man. So they don't really come off like, oh yeah, this is gonna be the swing. Well, there's the swing factor, but they're not the final boss, if that makes sense. And when you're looking at the episode last before this one, where they were in the store, I referenced, I think what might happen is the Gander Marie are going to be fighting, and then Do and Ku get involved, and they step in, and maybe they use the fusion bug, but whatever it might be, they're going to step in play and be like, yeah, they're under our protection. Like, don't touch the guys that did us that favor in the grocery store, like the Kmart or whatever. So it's really nice. I hope that they're gonna directly fight Goku and Vegeta, because it's been difficult to scale them. Like it's been difficult figuring out how powerful they are, or more specifically, how powerful Do is. Do you think that? I guess that's my last thought on this one. But do you think that will end up with them being good guys? Maybe they gotta go with everyone else, or like what do you? They'll have a face turn. They'll end up helping the team out.
I
What do
think
you
they
think is
will.
gonna
Yeah,
happen?
yeah, I think you nailed it with the last thing. I think the best way to sort of they feel like what Kibito is to Supreme Kai to Arinsu. You know what I mean? Like they don't have an agenda of their own. They serve their master. It's not good nor is it evil. It's kind of just in line with whatever she's doing. So I think they will have a bit of a turn, and I think if going off what you were saying when you were just kind of spinning your wheels over what you think, it sounds I get the vibe now that it might actually play out in a way where we get our heroes, the Z fighters, let's just call them that, versus the Glendamerie Force. I think the Glendamerie Force will be pushed, then the margins might step in because Arinsu will kind of just be like, nah, we need to get the Dragon Ball, so we need these guys to kind of be finished off. I think maybe something might happen and Goma might actually get frustrated and just pull a bit of a Bojack and take out the Glen or a couple of the Glendamerie Force out of frustration once he's got the third eye and be like, well, I have to take care of this myself. You guys are useless. And I think off the back of that, the margins might be like, oh, you just killed our friends and the Z fighters are standing against you. You are someone we need to stand against now, so we're just going to fight with the Z fighters. Like we didn't have an affiliation to start with, we just didn't want our friends to be killed, kind of thing. So that's how I think it might go, in a way to sort of show that they are kind of a bit maybe Gamma One, Gamma Two, where they're good or they're bad. It doesn't really matter. We get to see them fight a variety of different members of the cast in full. So I think that's maybe how it will play out. I think Goma's the one who will be the ultimate evil, and I think everyone will turn on him in the end, possibly.
Well, you just laid it out perfect. I'm riding with that's what I'm coasting off of now. All right, that plot right there is exactly what Dragon Ball would go like. That's it.
It would,
So
but that's also not factoring in the fusion bug and the possible entry of the Tamagamis as well. We could see them join the fray.
oh, I would love to see them rejoin the fight for sure.
Me too.
I'm gonna I don't got nothing to add on, so I'm guess I'm gonna
No?
leave it there. Any
Yeah.
last thoughts or should we wrap it up?
No,
All
no, we'll
right.
wrap it there. I think that's a good one.
All right, cool. Hey, man, y'all know who it is right there. It is Mr. Greg Dahl. I am the King Hitman. And episode, is it 15?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
episode
it was called
15,
the Third Eye. Titled the Third Eye. Yeah.
titled Third Eye, is in the books. All right, we only got a couple more episodes left, people. This will wrap up with episode 20. So make sure you guys strap in. Make sure you guys are watching week to week as soon as possible because I hate when you guys tell me you guys have been spoiled by like Twitter or Instagram or whatever it might be. All right, so please make sure you guys' eyes are glued to the screen week to week. But we'll call it there. Like, subscribe. Make sure you check us out. Comment your thoughts on how you think the rest of Daima will go. And we are off this.